Let me tell you a secret most men never figure out, not because they're not smart, not because they're not good enough, but because they've been fed the wrong message their entire lives. We're taught that flirting is all about clever lines. About confidence so loud it fills a room. About trying hard to be interesting enough for her to notice you. But real attraction? Real chemistry? That quiet, magnetic tension that makes a woman look at you just a little longer, smile a little softer, and think about you long after you're gone? That doesn't come from trying harder. It comes from a different place entirely. It comes from stillness. From presence. From being the kind of man who doesn't need to chase, because he already knows his value. See, the modern man is often told, be bold. Make the move. Say the line. But what if I told you that the most powerful flirting isn't loud at all? It's subtle. It's intentional. And it's deeply masculine. Because women, especially emotionally intelligent, feminine women, don't fall for noise. They fall for a man who knows how to lead, with restraint. They fall for men who can flirt without saying a word. Who don't flood the conversation with validation. Who don't rush the moment. Who can create tension by simply being aware and holding space for her to feel it. Imagine a woman sitting across from you. Her heart's beating just a little faster. You haven't said much, but she feels you. She leans in, wondering, what's going on inside him. She's curious, not because you're performing, but because you're not. You're calm. Collected. Sharp. Not overthinking. Not seeking. Just being. And that grounded presence, is what separates men who are forgotten, from men who are remembered. So if you've ever thought, I'm just not good at flirting. Or, I don't know how to make women feel attracted to me. It's not because you're missing game. It's because you've been misled about what flirting actually is. It's not the loud guy in the room who gets remembered. It's the one who listens before he speaks. The one who smiles without needing approval. The one who compliments without trying to impress. The one who walks away at the peak of the moment, because he knows when to let the energy breathe. That's the man she feels safe around. That's the man she thinks about. That's the man she wants to chase. And the best part? You don't have to pretend to be him. You already are him, you just need to peel off the layers of noise, neediness, and trying too hard. Because the truth is, the flirting tactics women secretly love? They're not tricks. They're reflections of a man who knows who he is, and doesn't need to prove it. So in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly what those tactics are. Not from a place of manipulation, but from alignment. Because once you learn to flirt like this, you'll never go back to chasing again. Let's dive in. Let's be honest. Most men today are walking around confused when it comes to women, especially when it comes to attraction, chemistry, and flirting. Some were told to be nice. So they overgive, overtalk, and overvalidate, hoping she'll notice. Others were told to be alpha. So they flex, dominate, and perform, constantly trying to prove something. But in both cases, the result is the same. She pulls away. She's polite, but distant. There's no spark. No pull. No mystery. And the man is left wondering, what am I doing wrong? The problem isn't your looks. It's not your bank account. It's not even what you say. It's your energy. Because flirting, real flirting, is not about what you do. It's about who you are while you're doing it. It's not about the line you say. It's about the space you hold when you say it. It's about your rhythm. Your stillness. Your restraint. Flirting is feminine and masculine energy meeting in tension. It's a subtle game of curiosity and contrast. And it's only truly mastered by men who are grounded, self-aware, and emotionally dialed in. A man who flirts well doesn't try to make her laugh, he speaks with wit that's not forced. He doesn't try to touch her constantly, but when he does, it's precise and intentional. He doesn't talk too much, because his silence speaks louder than most men's bragging. Women love flirting when it's not about manipulation, but about magnetism. Not about forcing desire, but about creating space for it to rise on its own. And here's the part nobody teaches men. Most women will never tell you what kind of flirting they actually like. Why? Because they don't always know it consciously. They just feel it. They feel safe, intrigued, excited, connected, and they can't quite explain why. It's in your gaze. It's in your body language. It's in how calm you are in the pause between her sentences. It's in how you don't flinch when she teases you, but playfully fire back, grounded and unshaken. That's what lights her up. That's what makes her curious. That's what makes her think about you hours after you've left the room. Not because of your words, but because of your presence. So if you've ever wondered, why do some guys attract women without trying? Why does she smile at him and not me? Why do my compliments fall flat while his silence feels seductive? The answer is in this video. Because today, I'm not giving you gimmicks. I'm giving you clarity. The 7 flirting tactics I'm about to share are rooted in timeless psychology, not pickup lines. They're about emotional mastery, energetic precision, and a quiet, powerful confidence that most men will never develop because they're too busy chasing validation. But not you. You're here. You're listening. You're leaning into growth. And once you apply these, you'll never flirt the same again. Let's begin. Tactic 1, the anchored gaze, silent presence over fast talk. There's a kind of eye contact that makes a woman nervous, the kind that's too intense, too fast, too much. It's the stare of a man who wants something. You've probably seen it, darting eyes, hungry stares, desperate glances that linger just a second too long. That's not presence. That's pressure. But then there's a different kind of gaze, a calm, grounded, steady look that holds space without invading it. That's what I call the anchored gaze. And when a man uses this, it's magnetic. It doesn't scream, "I want you." It whispers, "I see you. And I'm not in a rush." It doesn't chase. It doesn't flinch. It doesn't scan the room to see who else is watching. It's still. It's quiet. It's confident. That eye contact doesn't demand her attention. It invites her curiosity. Because here's the truth. Women don't just feel attraction through what you say, they feel it through how you see them. And when a man looks at her with depth, with calmness, with no need to impress, it activates something in her that words never could. She starts wondering, why is he so composed? What does he see in me? What is going on behind those eyes? The mystery grows, and mystery is the birthplace of feminine curiosity. The anchored gaze communicates volumes without saying a word. It says you've been through things. It says you've known pain. It says you're not easily shaken. It says, I don't need to convince you. I'm already whole. And you know what happens? She responds. Her body leans in slightly. She touches her hair. Her breathing changes. She lowers her eyes, then looks back. Because that tension you've created, that emotional silence, pulls her in. This is why Stoic flirting starts with the eyes. Not by staring her down, but by holding space with dignity, calmness, and subtle strength. When you master this, you don't have to be the loudest man in the room. You are the man she notices, quietly, intensely, and long after the moment has passed. Tactic 2, speaking less, but saying more with tone and timing. Most men think flirting is about saying the right thing. They believe that if they just say the perfect line, if they're funny enough, clever enough, or confident enough, the woman will lean in, laugh, and suddenly feel attraction. But what they don't realize is, words are cheap when your energy is off. What you say doesn't matter if how you say it betrays nervousness, performance, or a craving for attention. Here's what high-value men, Stoic men, understand. Attraction doesn't live in your words. It lives in your pauses. When you speak slowly, intentionally, and with presence, you create emotional weight. You create space. And in that space, she starts feeling something. Think about it. Most guys rush through their sentences. They try to be funny fast. They try to say what they think she wants to hear. But you speak like a man who's not in a hurry. You don't rush to fill the silence. You don't talk to impress. You speak because what you say means something. And that's rare. Women feel your pacing before they register your words. They hear your tone more than your content. They feel the stillness beneath your sound, and it affects them. A man who speaks with that kind of rhythm, calm, paced, grounded, radiates control. He doesn't need to dominate the conversation. He doesn't chase laughs. He lets his silence do half the work. Because when a man pauses, when he lets the air hang before answering, when he allows a sentence to breathe before continuing, he's showing that he trusts the moment. He's not rushing to prove. He's not afraid to be felt. He's in control of his words, his body, and his energy. That's the difference between flirting that feels natural and flirting that feels needy. Women are sensitive to emotional rhythm. They feel when your energy is tight. They feel when your breath is shallow. They feel when you're trying too hard to be liked. But when you speak with calm, confident pacing, they don't just hear you, they feel you. And that makes your words hit deeper. That makes your presence stand out. That makes her body say, this man feels different. Remember, you don't need to speak more to be memorable. You need to speak from stillness. Because when you do, she leans in. Not because of what you said, but because of what your silence made her feel. Tactic 3, playful challenge, disruption without disrespect. Let's get one thing clear. Agreeable men are forgettable men. Most guys think the path to attraction is paved with compliance. They nod at everything she says. They laugh too hard at jokes that weren't funny. They validate everything she does, hoping she'll reward them for being supportive. But women don't crave passive praise. They crave polarity, contrast, energy, a bit of tension. Not drama. Not arrogance. But a challenge, one that wakes her up emotionally. And that's where the Stoic man's flirting power kicks in. He doesn't insult. He doesn't disrespect. But he disrupts her pattern, playfully. Example. She says, "I'm always right." Most men would laugh and nod, "Haha, yeah, I believe it." You pause, smirk, tilt your head slightly and say, dangerous thing to admit that early. Now you're not being rude. You're not negging her. You're sparking tension. Curiosity. Intrigue. You're saying, without saying, "I'm not here to be your fan. I'm here to see what you're really made of." And you know what happens when you do this? She lights up. Her body reacts. Her eyes sharpen. Her posture shifts. Not out of defense, but out of stimulation. You've just challenged her mind, and most men never do. Because most men are playing it safe. But safe rarely creates spark. Safe rarely creates memory. What creates chemistry is a little disruption. A little teasing. A little push and pull that forces her to meet you on your level. And here's the beauty of it. You don't need to try hard. You just need to be present. You notice her language. You catch her playful arrogance. You see her energy, and you respond to it with grounded, masculine humor. Not to win. Not to dominate. But to say, "I'm not like the others. I'm not here to worship you. I'm here to connect, like two equals, and if you can handle that, we might just have something." When you flirt like this, you don't need pickup lines. Your presence is the line. And your playfulness becomes unforgettable. Because at the end of the day, she won't remember the guy who agreed with her. She'll remember the one who made her feel alive. Tactic 4, minimal touch, but always intentional. Touch is one of the most misunderstood elements in flirting. Some men avoid it completely, afraid they'll come across as creepy or disrespectful. Others overdo it, touching too much, too soon, without reading the room. But the truth is, it's not about how much you touch. It's about how intentionally you do it. A Stoic man doesn't touch for approval. He doesn't touch for attention. He touches to ground the moment. And here's the secret? The right touch at the right time speaks louder than any compliment ever could. Let me paint the picture. You're handing her a glass, and as you do, your fingers lightly graze hers, steady, warm, confident. Or you're walking through a crowded space, and with calm presence, your hand gently touches her back for just a second, to guide, not to grab. That brief moment of contact? It's not random. It's anchored. It says, "I'm aware of you. I lead with care. I respect your space, and know how to move through it." That's the kind of touch that lingers. Not because it's aggressive, but because it's energetically clean. It doesn't demand anything from her. It doesn't seek a reaction. It's confident. Still. Masculine. And here's what most men miss. Women feel everything. They may not always respond out loud, but their bodies respond instantly. A nervous, jittery touch? She'll pull away. An overly familiar, possessive touch? She'll feel invaded. But a grounded, relaxed touch? She'll remember that. Because it's not about arousal, it's about attunement. It shows her that you're present, that you're not up in your head, performing or overthinking. You're here. In your body. In control. Calm. And that energy? That's what creates safety. That's what creates tension. That's what creates desire. A Stoic man understands that every move he makes either adds to the moment or takes away from it. So when he touches, even if it's just once, it's deliberate. It's measured. And it's unforgettable. Because when your energy is aligned, you don't need to touch her constantly. One well-timed moment of contact can echo through her nervous system all night. And that's the kind of touch she craves. Even if she doesn't know how to ask for it. Tactic 5, the half-smile pause, letting her feel the space. There's a moment, subtle, fleeting, that most men never notice. You've just said something playful. She laughs. Her eyes meet yours. Now, most guys would rush in, try to keep the energy up, say something else, anything to keep her entertained. But not you. You lean back slightly. You let the silence breathe. You hold the moment, and then, you give her that look. Not a full smile. Not a smirk. Just the quiet confidence of a man who knows the power of pause. That, brother, is the half-smile pause, and it's one of the most seductive tools a Stoic man can wield. Because in that stillness, in that micro-moment of calm, you're telling her, "I'm not performing. I'm not chasing this connection. I'm already at peace, and you're welcome to join me." Here's the thing. Silence is terrifying to men who lack confidence. But to the man who knows who he is? Silence is a weapon. Because when you don't rush to speak, when you don't try to fill every second with sound, you create space. And in that space, she feels. She starts wondering, what's he thinking right now? Why does he seem so calm? Why do I suddenly feel nervous, in the best way? This is the kind of flirting most men overlook. They think it's about being funny. or dominant, or constantly witty. But real attraction often sparks in what you don't say. That slight half-smile, delivered with presence and restraint, carries mystery. It suggests you're reading the moment deeper than most. It shows you're tuned in, to her, to yourself, to the energy between you both. And that makes her feel something rare. Emotion without pressure. Curiosity without fear. Attraction without performance. Most guys are so focused on doing, they forget the art of simply being. But a stoic man knows. He doesn't need to push the moment forward. He just needs to protect it. Let it breathe. And trust the pull will grow on its own. Because when you pause like that, she doesn't just notice it. She remembers it. Tactic 6, strategic distance, the power of not always being close. Flirting isn't just about closeness. Sometimes, it's about pulling back, on purpose. See, most guys chase proximity. They lean in too often. They stay too long. They're always right there, available, responsive, eager. But here's the truth that few men ever realize. Presence becomes more powerful when paired with absence. Think of it like this. The flame doesn't grow in constant contact. It grows in tension. In space. In those small, intentional moments when you remove yourself just enough to let her lean in. This is the art of strategic distance. You're talking, laughing, connecting, and then you take a step back. You turn your body slightly. You check your surroundings for a moment. You casually sip your drink, let the silence stretch for a beat. You're still there. But you've shifted the dynamic. You've broken the rhythm, not to disconnect, but to give her the space to feel something. And here's what happens next. She notices. Her attention sharpens. Her body leans subtly forward. She wonders. Wait, where did his focus go? Did I say something wrong? Why does it feel like I want him even more now? Because your slight shift reminds her. You're not chasing her. You're centered. Rooted. Grounded. You're not dependent on her energy to feel complete. And that's intoxicating. Most guys never give her that space. They're always trying to entertain, impress, or be seen. But you flirt by creating emotional depth. You pull back just enough to let the air thicken. You make her miss your presence while you're still in the room. And that's what makes it stick. She doesn't just enjoy talking to you. She starts feeling pulled toward you. Not because you're clinging, but because you're anchored. You're not afraid of space. You know that real attraction grows in the gaps. So when you master strategic distance, you flirt with more than words. You flirt with your absence. And when a woman starts missing you while you're still in front of her, that's when you've truly become unforgettable. If you've made it this far, you're not just watching another video on flirting. You're stepping into a deeper kind of power, the kind most men will never access. The world has enough loud men. Enough tryhards. Enough performers. But the man who moves with stillness, who flirts without effort, who commands a room without raising his voice, that man is rare. And that man? He's who you were always meant to become. This isn't about tricks. This isn't about fake confidence or quick wins. This is about alignment. Because when you embody calm presence, when your words carry weight because you speak from silence, when your gaze holds space instead of chasing approval, she notices. She remembers. She feels it. So if this message spoke to something deep inside you, if a part of you said, yes, this is the man I want to be, then don't let this moment pass. Backhand index pointing right, hit subscribe to join the brotherhood here at Stoic Stream. This is more than a channel, it's a movement. A community of men becoming powerful by mastering themselves. Backhand index pointing right, tap like if this awakens something real in you. Not for validation, but as a signal that you're stepping into your presence. Backhand index pointing right and share this video with one man who's still chasing, still performing, still confused by women, because maybe all he needs is this one shift in perspective. At Stoic Stream, we don't chase women. We don't overthink. We align. Because when a man aligns his energy, his presence, and his purpose, he doesn't just attract women. He becomes the kind of man the world can't ignore. Stay present. Stay grounded. Stay stoic. And I'll see you in the next one, brother. Stoic Stream.